Hey all, Scott here. All I've got in my pocket is a receipt for a Hungry Man meal. Does it look like I'm doing okay? I really need something to make me realize, God, I could be doing a whole lot worse. I could be 13 and the only games I have to play are first-person shooters for the DS. Why does this keep happening to me?
Yeah, you can get laid on the go. Call of Duty is everybody's favorite best-selling first-person war shooter franchise. I've been on Wikipedia. Call of Duty was and still is a giant. But I'd argue it was truly at its biggest during the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era. That was when you couldn't escape it. Everybody was playing the single player, the multiplayer each and every year when a new one came out. That's probably why there was so much negativity surrounding the franchise for a while there. God, everybody hated this series back then, but now, I think most stopped caring. It was all because it was the trendy game back then, the one everybody was playing, and you should know by now, many video game fans will hate a game just because it's popular. It still does insanely well every year, topping the charts, but Call of Duty doesn't get talked about nearly as much. It's not really the trendy game anymore, it's more so just an inevitability. The Call of Duty comes out every year, a lot of people will play because, oh, the new Call of Duty came out, a year passes, the next one comes out, the end. The people who play it play, and then you have those who originally wouldn't be caught dead playing a Call of Duty, not caring about the fact new games come out every year because, like, there's nothing they can do about it. It's kind of like measles. Like, yeah, you don't like it, but like, are you gonna do anything about it? No. But during the 360 and PS3 days, these games were the biggest deals out there. Every kid on the playground wanted these games with ding, ding, ding. Now, of course, if you wanted the true experience, you had to get these games on either the PC, Xbox 360, or PlayStation 3. If you wanted one of the games 5 years after they released, you get them on a Mac. If you didn't have any of these systems and only had a Wii, well, the Wii versions of these games were okay overall. They were graphically downgraded, lacked some content, didn't have the same online community, but you'd be surprised how many people will still defend these games. You get a level of precision and embarrassment from using the Wii Remote's pointer that you simply can't achieve on standard controllers. But most people would agree these games go below the others. But if you didn't have a Wii, well, if you had to play these games, yeah, a developer was playing Brain Age and said, oh, Call of Duty! Come on, it only made sense. 2 screens, an Xbox, and the DS was made for these games. I find it weird how every mainline Call of Duty, from Call of Duty 4 all the way to Modern Warfare 3, got DS versions. The Wii skipped out on Modern Warfare 2. The PSP only got one Call of Duty game, and it was a spin-off from Call of Duty 3 back when the series wasn't nearly as popular. What about the successor to the DS, the 3DS? It got no such thing called a Call of Duty. These versions must have done pretty well and or were easy and cheap to produce if they didn't skip a single beat. They all came out the exact same day as the console versions. Like, they were serious about these games. Well, now I can finally say I've played 2 versions of Call of Duty 4. Let's pile through these and take them on a test drive. So all the Call of Duty games for the DS were developed by N-Space. You may know them for Geist, right? Please respond. During the DS era, they were the kings of making first-person shooters for the platform. If you wanted an FPS on the DS, you called N-Space. Their phones must have been going off the fucking hook. So Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is pretty much a bizarro take on the console versions. It has similar beats, but it kind of does its own thing, which, they could have at least taken the story from the console versions. They could have taken a lot from the console versions, but they decided to make their own shitty version of Call of Duty. Oh yeah, the Call of Duty DS developers, yeah, those guys have integrity. I gotta hand it to them. It looks like fucking shit, but that's only because of the console it's on. Like, they make the most of being on a console some people used as a cookbook. Things are relatively easy to decipher, it's not hard to look at, it just looks outdated and sad. But that's just how it looks. How do you play a first-person shooter on a this? So we have a single D-pad. Everything's in order so far. You can't play Call of Duty without a D-pad. This is how things are working. We move with the D-pad, aim with the touchscreen, shoot with the shoulder button, and if you have no clue what this thing is and more so use this thing to write, then you can move with the face buttons instead. This control scheme isn't the worst. Like, for what it is, it's fine. It works, but it's a control scheme created out of limitations. Nobody says, this is great. I feel like I'm taking notes. And that's all you can really say about Modern Warfare on the DS. It works, and that's about it. They have these puzzles you use the touchscreen on, like it's time to disarm a bomb. Did you bring your DS stylus? I honestly kind of like these things. I got a little bummed out when I finished one because I meant I had to play the game. Other than that, I gotta be honest, I'm really scraping for things to say at this point. I fell through the floor and gave up 40 minutes in. See, this is the kind of game that's fine, but you just feel like a fucking loser for playing. Did they Photoshop the screenshots on the back? This is not what the game looks like. Well, hopefully World at War picks up the slack. This is the same game. Literally, I really can't tell the difference between these two. Is that bad? Listen, I may be known as the resident doesn't really play Call of Duty player, but I can at least generally tell the difference between the games, and I would probably assume this was World at War. But if you told me this was the bonus jungle stage in Modern Warfare 3, I would nod my head like crazy. We now have landmine disarming minigames on the touchscreen. I really wish they'd make more use of the DS's microphone. I always wanted to disarm a bomb by yelling at it. So Modern Warfare featured local multiplayer for you to play with all your friends on the bus, but no online. World at War fixes that problem gracefully. You gotta be kidding me. You might want to be sitting for this, but World at War DS doesn't work online anymore.
Well, my weekend's f***ed.
The next year, N-Space returned with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Scratch that. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Mobilized. Listen, I get putting a subtitle on it because this is a separate entity from the actual Modern Warfare 2, but why drop the 2? Well, online multiplayer's back. Is it currently online? Give me a B. Give me an old shit. Bullshit. I do have to say, the games do improve as time goes on. It's obvious N-Space is really getting a knack for putting large-scale first-person shooters on the DS. The only problem is, they're on the DS. The games consistently keep running better, they look better, AI and design keeps improving. It's really nice to see, but there's only so much you can do with this thing. Look at the difficulty select. Each one is represented by this guy at different stages of chewing. Now with Black Ops, we have a glorious moment for society. They included a new option when it comes to controlling the game. So I've had a Nintendo 3DS capture card for about a year now. You connect it to your computer with a USB cable and bam! I can play my 3DS games here and on a computer screen. No hassle. But you know how things are. Accidents do happen.
What the f***? It broke?
Yeah, it stopped working, so I had to turn to something I just don't like doing. Yes, playing these games on a Nintendo DS emulator after downloading copies of these games for free off the internet, what have I become? Now, I do own every single one of these games legally, and I don't think Activision is sitting there going,
That son of a bitch, that son of a bitch!
For downloading ROMs of Call of Duty World at War on the DS. Pretty sure somebody called Stalin existed. I heard he was pretty bad, but sure. I ganked Call of Duty games from the DS. Satan, save a spot for me down there. But playing these games on a computer is wretched. To simulate using the touchscreen, we have to click down on the bottom screen and scrub around. You have to do this the entire time to aim. It's horrid. It's like this for the first 3 games. This is the only way you can control it. But with Black Ops moving forward, they give you the option to use the D-pad to move and the face buttons to aim. So all we have to do is pair a Bluetooth controller, map the buttons to the analog sticks, and bam, we can play Black Ops DS like a regular Call of Duty. I still feel like a fucking loser playing this. Yes, Black Ops is a bit more on the playable side of things on an emulator, and even on a normal DS, it's definitely the best one so far. And when we move on to Modern Warfare 3, Defiance, okay, I gotta ask, so these two, you had subtitles, this one you took out the number, and then this one you brought it back. Why didn't any journalists ask Activision about the point of that? Also, what the hell kind of a logo title screen is this? But, yeah. It's probably the best one of the bunch, I don't know. The Call of Duty games on DS are totally worthless now, not in terms of monetary value, but more so in terms of what you get out of them. If anything at all, they're incredibly interesting parts of the Nintendo DS library. I'm not trying to downplay any of N-Space's accomplishments with these titles. It's seriously impressive they could create a Call of Duty experience 5 times in a row without skimping on the quality all too much. They legitimately did the best they really could with the DS hardware. The fact they got full-blown original campaigns with voice acting and online/local multiplayer on most. It shows they really cared. This wasn't some throwaway product to simply get Call of Duty on the DS. This was really about supplying DS owners with legitimate first-person shooters. Back in the day, I'd say these were solid pickups for DS fans if you wanted a first-person shooter on the go or just wanted more Call of Duty. These weren't bad at all. Now the problem is it's 2019 and there is no reason to play these other than for novelty purposes. They aren't fun or interesting on their own to warrant picking them up. The only reason you'd ever want to play these now is because, haha, it's Call of Duty on the DS, this must be terrible. You then play it and go, oh god, that wasn't bad at all, that was just depressingly okay.
I wish I could say more about these games, but to be honest, play an hour of one of these games, you've played the entirety of them all. There's no real reason to play these today other than for novelty purposes, and even then, none of these games are so bad they're good or all too interesting, to be honest. However, these games bring me back to a wonderful time where developers wanted to put games like Call of Duty on hardware that had absolutely no business running it. It's honestly astonishing they could get games like this to run on the DS. The visuals and sound are pretty bad by today's standards, but for the DS, they are fantastic. The controls work, and these games have quite a bit to them all. But I'll be dead in the grave if somebody ever catches me playing Call of Duty on the DS. Oh, the past 9 minutes? No, of course I wasn't playing Call of Duty on the DS. I was just scratching 2 brownies with a toothpick. Why would I be playing Call of Duty on the DS? I would look like an idiot.